My name is Morris Goodman. On March 10th, 1981, I left home on a pleasure trip. When I left, I had a loving wife, enjoyed a successful business career, and had a beautiful home. When I came back...
What's his Glasgow?
Glasgow 3 at this time, not responding to pain even.
I got the family out here. Anything I can tell?
He's coma scale of 3 right now.
I just
a little
tell
bit of
him
history
that
on
he's
him from the scene.
unresponsive at this time. Mrs. Goodman?
Mrs. Goodman?
I'm Sandy Goodman.
I'm Morris's sister, Pat.
I'm his mother.
How is he?
I'm afraid I can't tell you what you would like to hear. His condition is extremely critical.
What are his chances?
I have been in the medical profession, Mrs. Goodman, for a good number of years. And the fact that your husband is alive at this moment will no doubt make medical history. No one, to my knowledge, has ever survived a break in the first or second cervical vertebrae. Your husband's neck is broken in both those places. His spinal column was crushed. His larynx is damaged so severely that he will never speak again. He also is suffering permanent nerve damage, causing a dysfunctioning of the liver, the bladder, the kidneys, and the diaphragm, which means that he can't breathe and will never breathe without the use of a respirator. His swallowing reflexes are damaged so severely that he won't ever be able to eat or drink again. I'm sorry to have to tell you all this, but quite candidly, I don't think he can survive the night.
The medical doctors left me with the impression that I would be a vegetable. And who was I to argue? But I did. That's not the picture I saw of myself. I had to believe with all my heart and mind that I would be normal again. As my condition stabilized, I had more visitors, and the need to communicate motivated my sister Pat to invent a code that was more sophisticated.
Body card? No. Key systems card? No. Person's card. Aha, alphabet card. Okay, Morris, which box is the first letter in? Fourth box. Which line? First line. S-T-U-V. T. Okay, second letter. Which box is the second letter in? 2. Which line? First line. Thank you. You're most welcome.
Is there something you'd like to say? Do you know how to communicate with him using the chart?
I sure do.
Please hurry up.
Box. 1 or 2. Letter. Box. 1 or 2. He says you're a great doctor. Do you realize you've just done more with 2 words than the entire nursing staff has been able to do in 2 years?
My number 2 goal was to breathe. I had to be free of that machine. I would now try to inhale a little air into my lungs, but my chest ached. After 100 breaths, I would stop to see if my lungs would expand on their own. I kept trying, but nothing was happening. I gave her a message for Dr. Matthews. You tell him I'll be back in 6 months, and when I come back, I'll walk into his office and shake his hand.
Are you serious? Candidly, I think you're not being very realistic about it. Don't you think you'd be a lot better off just to accept where you are and go on? I think you're setting yourself up for a big disappointment. I'll tell him, but I don't think he'll believe it.
The test continued, and so did the feeling of total helplessness.
Yes, I'm Ruth. I'm your private duty nurse.
Morris, we're going to put something on your head to keep your neck straight because it isn't lining up properly. So we're going to fit you with a halo vest.
A halo vest, he said. Sounded almost heavenly. It was hell. But that night I continued my breathing exercises, and finally my persistence paid off. One night I did 2 sets of deep breaths. I felt my lungs expand 3 times. It was possible. I took 3 breaths on my own. The next step in my blueprint for success was to allow my dream to develop. I repeated the mental scenes of my breathing and eating, talking, and walking over and over with white heat intensity. When enthusiasm and belief build, they generate the energy to make any goal a reality. Belief and faith are the most powerful and positive constructive forces known to man.
Morris, we have orders to take you off the respirator for a few minutes to see if you can breathe on your own. Why are we taking him off the respirator? Everyone in this hospital knows the nurse to his diaphragm have been severed.
Well, you believe that, and I believe that, and the whole medical staff here believes that. But until Morris believes it, we take him off the respirator for a while.
I was now breathing on my own. No more respirator.
You did such a good job. Oh, you too. Congratulations, Morris. We're really proud of you.
My electric chair was another milestone in my life. For me, it was a beginning. Mama. Mama. Sandy, I love you.
Right hand. All right, lean forward. Take your left foot. Good. Let's move that left hand forward. Right foot. All right, good. Now lean forward. All right, now your left hand. Good. Okay. Right foot. Very good. Now keep your weight forward. Good.
First, I want to tell you that since you've been with us, you've made your mark on the lives of a lot of people here.
In my business, I always had a battle plan, a blueprint for success. I set long-range goals, took a personal inventory of my needs, carefully assessed each situation. I set many goals and set out to accomplish one at a time. I would set a time limit and then try to create a mental picture of how things would be once that goal was accomplished. I think Henry Ford said it quite nicely when he said, whether we think we can or whether we think we can't, either way, you're right.
Do you know what the staff calls you?
I'd be afraid to ask.
The Miracle Man.
Okay, hold it right here. This is where I get off.
Morris, I honestly believe that you might walk in a couple of weeks, but you are not ready yet.
And besides, it's against hospital regulations.
This moment is the very first of my goals. To walk out of this hospital on my own 2 feet. And regulations or not, that's exactly what I intend to do. Stick back. Dr. Matthews? I told you I'd walk in here and shake your hand.
Yes, Morris, I got the message. But I didn't believe it could be done.
And I never believed for a minute it couldn't be done.
If I wanted to sum up my life and sum up for people what they can do in life, I would sum it up this way in 6 words. Man becomes what he thinks about.